Hello everyone, welcome to Digital Signal Processing lecture series. Today we are going to discuss the basics of Z transform, its application, its advantages, and also some important formulas of the Z transform. Along with that, how to apply Z transform for the LTI system. So this lecture will going to one of the most important lecture for this chapter, that is a Z transform. So before moving to the actual chapter or the actual session, I want to discuss some few things regarding the Z transform. So basically for this subject, we are dealing with the digital signals uh, only. As compared to analog signal, the processing of digital signals is very simple, and there are some other filters are also used which is used to process this digital signal. So along with that, please remember one thing: if you are dealing with the analog signal, then you have to analyze this analog signal using Fourier transform or the Laplace transform. I think you have learned this in the mathematics subject, that is how to Fourier transform and Laplace transform can be used for the mathematical calculations. So for the analog lecture, for the analog signals, we should focus the Fourier transform and the Laplace transform. But in the case of digital signals, there are two types of transform used, that is a Z transform, and the second method is the discrete Fourier transform, that is DFT. So these two methods are used to analyze digital signals. Okay, the digital signals is nothing but the discrete time signal. I think you should know about it. And the analog signals are the continuous time signal. That means the signal is continuous and defined for all values of time. So this is the analog signal, and for the digital signal, the samples can be taken at the discrete times interval. So there is a time interval for the digital signal. So now we are dealing with the digital signal and its processing. So for that purpose, we have to learn this Z transform and the discrete Fourier transform. So this is the very basic basic point for the calculation of this, or the we can say analyzing of these digital signals. So let's start our session. So we can see the simple definition of the Z transform. The Z transform provides a valuable technique for analysis of design of discrete time signals. That means it is the digital signal always as discrete time LTI system. So this LTI stands for linear time invariant system. Okay. I think you have learned this type of term in the signal and system subject, that is what is LTI system. I will quickly review the definition of the system. So the linear time invariant system are class of the system used in the signals and system, also in the case of digital signal processing. The linear, what is linear? So linear systems are the systems whose output for linear combination of input are the same as a linear combination of individual responses. Okay, so the total system output is the same as compared to linear combination of individual responses of the system. And what is meant by this? Time invariant. So time invariant system are the system where the output does not depend on when input was applied. Okay, so this time invariant system has a definition: the system whose output does not depend on when the input was applied. So this LTI system is more popular in the signal and system and the digital signal processing also. So what is the Z transform? The Z transform provides a valuable technique for analysis such type of systems digitally. Okay, or we can say for analysis design of discrete time signals as well as discrete time LTI system. So one can say there are various advantages of Z transform. As we know the various advantages of digital signal processing, so those advantages can be compared with these advantages of Z transform. So one can say there are so many points for the advantages. The first point is the Z transform is used for the digital signal, of course. Both discrete time signals and the linear time invariant system can be completely characterized using this Z transform. So the definition itself shows the valuable technique or the analysis technique of this type of system and the discrete signals. So both the signals, both the system, that is LTI system and the discrete time signals, can be completely characterized, or we can say analysis can be done using the Z transform. The second point is the stability of linear time invariant system can be determined using Z transform. So one can determine or analyze the stability, what is the actual, whether the system is stable or not. So this can be achieved by, or we can say this can be analyzed or determined using the Z transform. Again, next point is by calculating Z transform of the given signal, DFT and fast Fourier transform can be determined. So in this chapter there are some points that is which shows the comparison between, or we can say relationship between Z transform and the Fourier transform. So we will discuss it later on, but please remember this is one of the advantages of this Z transform, that is by calculating Z transform of the given signal, discrete Fourier transform, that is DFT, and Fourier transform can be determined. The entire family of digital filters can be obtained from one prototype design using Z transform. So as you have already learned, the analog filters are different and the digital filters are different. So the filter section is for section B in this subject, that is FIR filter and IR filter. So those are the digital filters. But in the case of analog filters, there are some different type of filters which deals with the filtering of analog signal, or we can see the ripple content removing of the analog signal. So now we are dealing with the digital filters. So all this digital filter family can be obtained from one prototype design using Z transform. The next point is the solution of differential equation can be simplified or obtained by using Z transform theorem. And the last point is the mathematical calculations can also be reduced using Z transform. So for that purpose there are various operations which can be performed on the digital signals. So those operations are nothing but the convolution operation, or there are some correlation operation in the DFT chapter. So this is very important point for the calculation of this discrete time system or analyzing this discrete time system using this convolution method or correlation method. So it ultimately provides the simple calculation for the analysis of system. So please remember these are the simple advantages of the Z transform, and various discrete time system, LTI system, can be analyzed using this Z transform. Let's move forward. There is some disadvantage of this Z transform. As we all know, the Z transform cannot apply for the continuous signal, or we can say it can apply for the analog signal. It is only used for the digital signal. Next we will move forward for the most important part, that is basic equation of Z transform. Also there are two types, that is direct Z transform and inverse Z transform. There are also different equations for that, for this such type of Z transform. So we will quickly discuss the direct Z transform, one of the most important point of this subject, and all the calculations, all the properties and the methods are totally depend on this direct Z transform. So one should remember the equation which shows that x of z is equal to summation of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n z raised to minus n. So this x of n is the discrete time sequence. Okay, the x of n is the discrete time sequence and the x of z is the z transform of that sequence. Okay, x of z is the z transform of that sequence. So this is basic equation of the Z transform, and for you have to solve all the problems, upcoming problems, we will discuss it later on using this equation also only. So the Z transform of the discrete time signal x of n is defined as the power of the power series, which is given by this equation. So please don't forget this equation. This is very important equation, and it is only equation which is used to solve this Z transform method. So along with that, there are some characteristics of the Z transform. So it is infinite power series. Okay, we can see from the equation, that is limits are minus infinity to infinity. So it is an infinite power series. It exists only for those values of Z for omega which is this series converges. So this is region of convergence technique. We will discuss it later on during when we solve these problems for the Z transform. We will learn this type of technique, that is what is ROC or region of convergence. The basic definition is given. So what is ROC? ROC is nothing but the region of convergence of x of z is a set of all values of z for which x of z attains the finite value. Okay. So these are the set of values of z for which x of z attains finite value. So there should be a finite value for the x of z after calculating this z transform, then the region of convergence exists. So as a result, when z transform is cited, we have to also indicate the ROC. So please remember, this is highlighted statement that each and every time you have to draw ROC of this given discrete time sequence after finding out the Z transform, and also this region of convergence has a set of values which attains x of z finite value. So please remember, x of z should attain the finite value. Okay, and we have to draw the ROC for this discrete time sequence. So I think you have learned these 3 points, 3 important points for this direct Z transform. That is its equation, which is given by this x of z. Again, its characteristics, the basic characteristics for the ROC, and what is the condition of ROC, and when to draw this type of ROC, that is region of convergence. If the examiner not ask for ROC, you might don't draw this ROC, but for the complete region of convergence finding technique, or we can say for the complete Z transform of the discrete time sequence, you have to draw such type of region of convergence for this set of signals. So please remember these 3 points. We'll move forward. So the next is the types of Z transform. So there are two types of Z transform. The first one is the bilateral Z transform, or it is also called as two-sided Z transform, and the second one is unilateral Z transform, or you can say single-sided Z transform. So these two types of Z transform can be easily distinguished by observing its limits. Okay. So if you observe for the two-sided Z transform, the limits will become n is equal to minus infinity to infinity, and for the single-sided Z transform, the limits are n is equal to 0 to infinity. Okay. All the remaining equation is the same. So for the two-sided Z transform, x of z is equal to summation of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n into z raised to minus n, and for the single-sided Z transform, x of z is equal to summation of n is equal to 0 to infinity x of n z raised to minus n. So this is basic difference for the types of Z transform. It can also be cleared by reading this description, that is for single sided Z transform, limits of summation are from 0 to infinity like in the second equation, and so while expanding the summation we will put only positive values of n, that is n is equal to 0 to n is equal to infinity. For the double sided Z transform, we will put both positive and negative values of n. So these things will be clear when we solve the examples of this Z transform. This is very simple one. Okay, just only remember, in the two types of Z transform, for the single sided there are limits will be n is equal to 0 to infinity, and for the two-sided Z transform the limits will be n is equal to minus infinity to infinity. So I think you have clear. This is basic types of Z transform. So we'll move forward for the xy plane, or we can say Z domain of this Z transform. So this is figure this is figure which is nothing but the Z domain figure. Okay, on the vertical axis or the y axis there is a imaginary plane which is shown by Im of Z, and the in horizontal plane there is a real plane. Okay, that means there is a real and imaginary part. So here we are transforming discrete time sequence, that is x of n. Please always remember this discrete time of sequence is shown by x of n and the Z transform is shown by x of z. So please don't get confused between these notations, that is digital signal is shown by x of n and its Z transform is shown by x of z. So we know that discrete time sequence x of n is drawn by plotting amplitude versus n. So this is called discrete domain. In case of Z transform, we are plotting real part of Z on the x axis, like we can see in the Z domain, or we can see this is a plot which is shown in this figure. So what it shows? It shows that in case of Z transform, we are plotting real part of Z on the x axis and the imaginary part of Z on the y axis. So this real part is shown by capital R into E, which is shown by real, and the vertical part or the vertical plane is the imaginary part which is shown by Im of Z. So this is called the Z domain. So this is Z domain is used to draw the ROC. How we can plot the ROC, on that we will discuss during the problems. So please remember, this is the basics of plotting the region of convergence of any Z transform or the any discrete sequence. So how to denote this Z transform? So there are two types of notation basically which is used to denote the Z transform of the any discrete time sequence, or we can say digital signals. So there are we can say the two equations, that is x of n Z transform is equal to x of z, and the second equation is x of z is equal to Z transform of x of n. So this equation shows that the Z transform of the x of n is nothing but the x of z. Okay, so we can see the two equations. The relationship between x of n and the x of z is indicated as follows. So this is the first equation, that is x of n. This double arrow shown in figure, two-sided arrow. The z is indicated on that, and it shows that the Z transform of x of s nothing but the x of z. Note that x of z is the Z transform of x of n. Always when the Z transform of the sequence is obtained, then it is denoted by capital letter. Like I have told you earlier, the any Z transform is denoted by capital letter, that is x of z. Here arrow is bidirectional. This is because we can also obtain x of n from x of z using inverse Z transform. So there is basically two meaning of this bidirectional arrow shown in this equation, that is the Z transform of x of n is nothing but the x of z, and we can also find the x of n using x of z, which is nothing but the inverse Z transform. This is the last subtopic of this chapter. We will discuss it later on. So please, I guess you all know, you have cleared this the meaning of this bidirectional arrow which is shown in this equation, and the next equation is also there. The next equation is the Z transform of the x of n is also denoted as x of z is equal to Z transform of, in curly bracket, x of n. Here x of n and the x of z are called as Z transform pairs. So these are the basically two methods to denote any Z transform of the discrete time sequence, or we can say x of n. Okay, so please remember, these are the some basic points of this second chapter. On that we have to solve some problems in the next section. This is the most important. Please remember to draw the ROC. This type of Z domain you should remember, that is real part on the x axis and imaginary part on the y axis. Along with that, the two types of Z transform, two sided and single sided. Only difference is that the limits are different. Then these 3 points, the basic equation of Z transform, what is ROC, and the what are the conditions of the ROC and its definition, and these are advantages and disadvantages of Z transform. I think you have clear all these points. So in the in the next section we will discuss the problems on that transform. So thank you for this session. Thank you very much.